The county executive debate has really focused on school construction funding. You heard about the Silver Spring Transit Center. We heard a little bit about the environment with a development debate up in the north of Montgomery County surrounding 10 Mile Creek. But, look, Montgomery County is going to be the first jurisdiction in Maryland to have a public financing of elections law go into effect in the 2018 cycle. Part of the impetus for this was that at the state level, the progressive members of the State House and Senate wanted to get a public financing bill passed for state offices. It didn't happen, and so the compromise was, well, if Montgomery County wants this, Montgomery County can do it. So Montgomery County said, yes, thank you, we will. And so we're going to have a public financing law go into effect in 2018. But what that really represents, I think, is public sentiment is, heavily of the mind that industry influence on policymaking has gotten out of control. The Supreme Court twice now, first in the Citizens United decision and most recently last month in the McCutcheon decision, has basically gutted a lot of the restrictions on political donations. So now wealthy industries and millionaires can basically donate whatever they want to whoever they want, and there's very little you can do about that. And so what's not being asked of the county executive candidates is probably, again, this fundamental question about where do they draw the line on industry influence on policy and where the public interest lies. I think a lot of those issues are intertwined in the Silver Spring Transit Center, where actually a lot of the players involved in that debacle are heavy political insiders, and they donate, they're involved, they have close relationships with a lot of the people that were supposed to be regulating that project. You see the same thing in Annapolis, where the banking industry, the healthcare industry, the insurance industry, pharma, everybody's got their money going into pots of Democratic lawmakers. So in Montgomery County, the question is, we've seen now tax cuts corporate welfare for Costco, Fillmore, Lockheed Martin, Choice Hotels, Marriott, on and on again. There's very little evidence that these companies were actually planning on adding to jobs in the county. In fact, some of them said they weren't, that they just had philosophical arguments for why they should get a handout. And nobody's talking about this. And so at the same time, again, that we're asking for $20 million in extra school construction funding this year, that's probably about what we gave away to big businesses in the county in the last 2-3 years. And so nobody's talking about this. It's not a sexy issue that's, in the face of politicians. And yet when I talk to people, these economic justice issues are at the top of their minds. And, part of the reason it probably doesn't come up is that people don't think there's much you can do about it. They've sort of resigned themselves to the fact that, we have corporate capture of our government and regulatory process. But, again, we have 0 elected Republicans in Montgomery County. So where's the accountability? I think, it's now or never. We have 2 months to ask candidates to weigh in on these issues. Use it or lose it.